Hi, I'm David.
I'm Thomas.
We make video games and put them on the internet. My first Call of Duty game was Call of Duty Big Red 1 on PlayStation 2. I've been a developer on every Call of Duty game made by Treyarch, which goes way back. It's kind of an internal tease or joke that I just held on to. So if you're familiar with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons or any kind of role-playing game like that, there's usually the person who's in control of the game, the dungeon master, which is a term for being responsible for the rules of the game and bringing people through the game. So rather than say game director, or game designer, or any of the names, it was just kind of it was actually, the nickname was given to me by a public relations person actually, who said he's kind of like a dungeon master, and I just sort of grabbed onto it because I thought it was cute. Fans that were students of the game type. A lot of people in the building was playing it. A lot of people in your building were playing it. Battle royale type games, no matter what it was. Yep. And we thought we could do something really special with a decade worth of Black Ops, right? It's a very polished experience. It's very fast. It's very fluid. That makes it a little bit different. It's just purely first person. There's no third person. We have a history of making large maps as Treyarch. We have a history of doing vehicles. We thought that'd be a lot of fun. So it was really, and then the fans, of course. The fans had a lot to do. Hey, what would Call of Duty be like, or what would Black Ops? What would Black Ops? I didn't name the thing. What would Black Ops be like in that kind of game type? And we had to answer that question. It was like too good of a question to not try and answer.
Well, I mean, like we said before, we have a dedicated team. So, at Beanox, we have a large portion of our studio focused entirely on PC. So what it allows us to do is sort of work in parallel for the ship date, because the great thing about having a dedicated team is that it's kind of ship day and date. So it's not a port. We have to make decisions that feel right for the PC. But it's the same experience, don't get me wrong. So it's the same great content. The difference is it's tailor-made for the PC. So what we do is that, of course, we'll have teams of engineers, teams of designers. We have an entire UI team working on the menus. And so what we'll do is we'll go through the content that's handed out to us, and it will just make conscious decisions for the PC community in mind. And so what we do is we put what we call together design briefs, and this is where we're going to be sending them to Treyarch for review. And this is where we have constant communications, constant conversations with their team. So, for instance, if we want to tweak or work on weapon balancing specifically for PC, then we'll be talking to their weapon specialists, who's been doing that for a very long time. And so that way we can have conversations until we have something that feels right. And so basically we're just sharing information. But what it means basically is we have like testers. We test the game regularly to just make sure that, let's say, the keyboard and mouse default setting feels great. And then it's just a matter of providing all the options that the PC community would want. And so it all comes down to flexibility, basically. Is that every PC player is different, and so what can you provide in terms of options that would just make you give you the ability to set it up the way you want.
The collab has been fantastic. So his team will often work directly with my team, like. We don't even get involved half the time. All we did was set up the pipelines. So the guys on the PC side who are doing weapon tuning have direct contact, direct exposure to the weapon combat team, one of my teams. So it's a really important way, because the PC, it does need to be tuned differently. It does need to be balanced differently. The UI has to be different with the keyboard and mouse. And you want to do that right. And you want to make sure that it also doesn't somehow do something weird to the game that it shouldn't do. And I think at this point, those folks don't even need us anymore. They could probably be off and running.
Yeah. They have constant communications. We're not involved on
don't have to be
day.
anymore.
Yeah.
They're like family now, and that's what's important. To make a great PC game.
And one thing important, talking about your broken PC. One thing we do with BattleNet and working with Blizzard is they have what we call a compatibility lab. And what it allows us to do, it's basically a huge farm of different PCs with different graphics cards. And we can run automatic tests, so we can make sure that it runs great on a wide variety of platforms. So that's kind of the big difference. So the game will be the same.
Would you say making PC games is hard?
It's challenging.
Challenging.
It's challenging. It's not hard. It's challenging.
A lot of hard work.
And so so it means making sure that there's as many PC players that can play the game, and we want it to run great on a whole bunch of hardwares.
Yeah, so it is the largest zombie offering to date. So there is Voyage of Despair, and that has an all-new cast, so it's an all-new storyline. And Voyage of Despair takes place on the Titanic, and as history has shown us, that it's usually the zombies that are the cause of all great tragedies.
Yeah, nothing to do with the iceberg.
Yeah. And then there is also 9, so that same group of characters gets, let's say, teleported back to a certain time in history where there was lots of gore and violence, I think. And that's the new story, that's the new cast, and we call that the Chaos storyline. And then the Ether storyline, which is Blood of the Dead, which is the spiritual sort of sequential, I guess. You have to play it, but it's where Mob of the Dead becomes Blood of the Dead, and it's the different cast of characters doing a different storyline, but in the same location as the Blood of the Dead cast. So I think there's something for long-term zombie fans, but it's also a great opportunity to start with us fresh, with a new cast of characters and a new storyline, and to get caught up. And then, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on in zombies. There's easy mode all the way up to realistic, which is one hit, and a bunch of game custom options, lots of replayability in there, and man, there's a long line of really great stuff for zombies fans lined up in there that you're going to have a good time with.
In the World at War edition of Call of Duty, there's a soldier character who's named after Vonderhaar.
I got you. Okay, so here's how this has worked. Yeah, she's been on the blog. All right, so let me explain how this works for your fans and your audience. Historically, the AI characters, all of them, the generic soldiers, would inherit the names of the developers. We would use our own names so that everybody had a name, but the character is not. It could be anybody in the building, right? That one just happened to be written about, and we had done the same thing with the bots historically, or the AI, that they would, it's like a random soldier in the game in World at War. Is the game in this one where it would be David Vonderhaar, and then I would just be like a grunt soldier. But by the way, every developer had their name in here, not just me. Just to be super clear about this, there's nothing special about that. It just so happens that fast forward 10 years later, then that's why. Here's what I would recommend if you've never played a battle royale game before: don't drop hot. And what I mean by that is don't land someplace where a lot of other people land, because that's a surefire way to not understand the game, because you're going to die really fast. Don't give up. We have a saying. The expression's in Spanish. It's uno más, means one more. Just play one more time. Uno más, one more time. Just keep trying. Just keep playing, right? That's the fun thing. As soon as you're done, as soon as you get out of the game, you can get right back into another one. Find some friends who can help you out. That would be a good tip. But most of all, just have fun. Don't worry about it. It's just a game. There's lots of games to come after the game that you just finished. I would win, clearly.
You would win. I mean, he's the guy creating the whole thing.
It's a team effort.
But look, working really hard.
If it was on the PC, I'd have to fight really hard.
Yeah, I could have a chance. But hey, if it's me with a squad against him, maybe.
Yeah, no, he can win on the PC with the right squad. It also depends on what we're mean. If it's Blackout, no way. I could 1-on-4 the squad. But if it's multiplayer or maybe zombies, he'd probably high score to me, especially with the keyboard and mouse, because I'm a little rusty. But I tell you, I'm serious. I got a dope PC gaming rig, and I'm coming for your title.
All right. That's right. That's good. All right, thank you.
We're squad mates.
Yes.
We belong together. Look at us.
Yes.